Meet Yousef, a gifted engineer with a passion for 3D printing innovation. This is Ken, a savvy businessman with a laser focus on end-to-end consultancy. These two lifelong friends have turned what was once a hobby into a successful business. And I've come here to find out their story. Hiya, Ken.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. South of Wales, just outside of Cardiff. Lunia 3D, this is your company. What is it you're producing here?
So, yes, we're Lunia 3D. We're based in Cardiff. We do all kinds of 3D printing and manufacturing for various industries.
But this was a passion for you. This was a hobby for you initially.
Yes, so I started out 3D printing in my teenage years, and it just turned into a hobby, printed all kinds of things myself just for fun. And then kind of after I went to university, I sort of seen the potential it could have in industry and what problems it could solve, and made a company out of it.
And where does the relationship with yourself and Yousef come into this? Because it's quite a story.
So yes, so me and Yousef are high school friends, both really good friends for the entirety of high school, and then we sort of went our separate ways during university, both studied different things in different locations, and then after we graduated, we sort of seen we were still in the same interest within 3D printing. I thought, let's put our heads together, make a business out of it.
I'm going to meet him just shortly because we're going to find out a bit more about the technology in your workshop. But how did you go from turning a hobby into something commercial like this?
So I think the main turning point for myself was during lockdown, we were producing face shields, which were 3D printed for key workers and sort of dentists and nurses and all that kind of things at the time. This kind of gave me the idea that 3D printing could be used as mass producing products on a small scale, but also getting the quick turnaround as well at a low cost. And that's where I sort of realized, okay, this has got a place in industry and it could be used more in different industries as well.
And I bet you're covered. I mean, we're just looking around this facility. You're producing so much. So what technology sits behind all of this then? And how did you choose it? Why did you choose what you chose?
Good question. So we initially started off with just FDM, which is a very basic form of technology within 3D printing. It's a lot of these items you see here. Great for prototyping, great for end-use stuff as well at a push. But we recently invested in multi-jet fusion, which is a powder-based process, which gives us more end-use products, so it can be used as a final result, not just as prototyping.
And what are your current demands? What are people generally asking of you? What are you producing?
So it's various, it's everywhere. So a lot of engineering companies are approaching us, they're getting prototypes made initially, and then they're getting mass-produced parts of us now, because like I said, we've got the multi-jet fusion, we could do the end use, but it's a lot of bespoke and obsolete parts as well, so things that are broken, things that are not being produced anymore, we can 3D scan them, reverse engineer them, and then reproduce them at hopefully a lower cost and a better material too.
Absolutely. So would you say it's all opening new doors? What's happening in 3D printing now?
So yeah, I think the first couple of years when we were a business, we were mainly doing prototyping, getting sort of ideas over the line for people and doing the design work for them. But now, as we've grown as a company, getting the multi-jet fusion, it's really helped us produce larger scale products as well. So we're doing parts in the quantities of the thousands, tens of thousands now, not just like small batches.
Right, okay, let's go meet Yousef.
I guess we started with the FDM process, fused deposition modeling in the long format. That was our core of our business. It was the most accessible process within the realm of 3D printing that we could get ourselves. As we were growing, our B2B client base got more professional over time, and we would move in from prototyping to end-use products. But we didn't have a machine that really could make the end-use products, right? FDM's great for making parts, prototyping. It can be used for end-use, but when you want injection-moulded quality parts, that's where the MJF process comes into play.
And tell me about that story then. Did you approach Matsuura? Did they come to you?
Yeah, so good question. So they approached us initially. I think so they seen that we were getting more and more active on LinkedIn, social media, our website with traffic.
They called you entrepreneur.
Yeah,
so you know.
I like to think that, yeah. No, thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, so Joe from Matsuura, he came down, give us a call beforehand, just having a chat about what we do, what our process is, and how we could expand for the future, right? We had powder printing in our mind as our next solution, but you know, we needed to let the company grow and mature a bit more, get our client base a bit bigger and bigger. We were outsourcing at some point with powder printing, so that was great. It showed that we were getting more and more demand on that side of stuff. And then eventually we needed to control that process ourselves, be it lead time, costings, colors that people want on their parts. Matsuura came into play then. They had a good chat with us on multiple occasions, to be honest, made us feel really comfortable about the whole process. And then, hey-ho, last year, we had the delivery of our 4200, and I couldn't change it for anything, honestly. It's been so fantastic.
Is it really?
It has. It's that full control. That's what makes it really, really powerful within Lunia 3D. We can now offer final injection-molded quality-like parts to our clients, be it, you know, one-off or a batch of 10,000, 1,000 parts. It could vary.
So how does the process work then?
So, process starts at the processing station, load the powder into the build unit. Let's bring the build unit to the actual printing machine, let that do its printing. Once that's completely finished, there's a cooling cycle of X amount of hours depending on your build unit size. But while that's cooling, we'll bring another build unit in and start the next build. Okay. So once you've cooled down that build, you want to vacuum the parts out of there. You want to bring those parts to the bead blasting station, glass beads basically hitting the part and cleaning that surface. And then from that, you've got your final part. That's what you need.
That's exactly what your goal was, final part production.
100%.
Have you had to have a lot of support from HP and Matsuura as well with this?
That's a really good question, and early days, yes. Especially when we were getting familiar with the machine, we were running into quite a few snags. Now, you know, we're part of the 3DAS subscription, which is HP's monthly rolling subscription. I've used that multiple times already. They've got a great ticketing system on there. There's parts that have gone wrong. Next day, an engineer has come out, repaired the machine, and it's back online.
With this technology, what do you think you can produce and where can it take you as a company? You know, where do you think you'll be?
I can see us being the largest manufacturer in Wales, honestly. Like, whether it's contract manufacturing or just prototyping, we really can do that.
Can we, MTDCNC, follow your journey?
Yes, of course we can.
Yeah. I look forward to it.